Hello, everyone! Welcome to another episode of Reacting Reddit, where real humans read, react, and summarize trending topics to you using replies on Reddit to get the story straight. So, today we're going to be talking about GameStop, because if you invest or anything, you probably know that GameStop just shot up in value from like $4 to like $100 per stock, and we're going to get into why that's happening and how it's imminently going to fail and crash. But before we get into that, let's talk about the history of GameStop. What is GameStop? Hooray! GameStop is a retailer that is mostly based in malls, which is a problem because basically people aren't going to malls anymore. Like, way less people go to malls now than they ever did before because of e-commerce and Amazon, essentially. Long story short, right? So GameStop, you can trade your games into GameStop and buy games there, right? The problem is that all new games cost $60, and GameStop only gives you like between $2 and like $15 for your games. And they give you significantly less than you can sell the game yourself easily online on eBay or Mercari or any of these platforms. So that's always been kind of a grope against GameStop, because they have to buy games from their users at a cheap enough price so that GameStop can then turn around and sell those games to other users and make a profit. So therefore, they pay the users like nothing for the games, right? And so that kind of leaves a bit of a bitter taste in your mouth, because if you use GameStop, you pay $60 for a brand new game, and you do that every time games you really like come out. And then you're trading in your old games that you paid $60 for like $5, $10, maybe $15. So at the best, you can trade in 4 old games to get 1 new one. And also the used game prices at GameStop are just expensive. It's a store that's more expensive than buying stuff online. So these are the context. This is the context to GameStop, and essentially it's been crashing for years and years and years. If we let's go look at Robinhood real quick, and we'll just look at GameStop stock, because right now it's been, what is it, GME? Yeah, GME. Right now, obviously it's crazy valuable. Like, look at this this is in a day trade graph, right? $96 in the morning, $144 just an hour later. So basically, if you bought $1,000 worth of this stock and sold it 1 hour later, you made $400, right? This kind of volatility is temporary, right? So let's get into the 1 year or the 5 year graph, and you see, what the is this? See, this is what GameStop is what's actually happening to GameStop. It's losing money. It's like failing. Its share price was dropping all the way till August of this year, or August of 2020. Then it actually started to kind of raise and get some attention there. But basically nothing's changed in GameStop. The CEO changed, but the way that they manage their company barely changed at all. So anytime you see this, like a stock go from like $15 to $100, that's just absolutely bonkers and has something to do with manipulation, right? But just so you understand the context, like if you go back 5 years, GameStop was consistently losing value and losing value and losing value and losing value for years and years and years and years and years and years. And then just suddenly, boom! Right? So why did that happen? Let's get into it. Because basically, it has stuff to do with Reddit and influencers and people either purposefully or unpurposefully working together and manipulating markets. So let's get into it. This first reply is by uppercase, not class, and says, answer. This fascination with GameStop started on our Wall Street bets in mid-2020. If you check the history of GameStop stock, you will see that the stock was trading at around $4 per share for years and years. Wall Street Bets is basically a subreddit for finding stocks that are typically high risk and spending a lot of money trading that stock. The subreddit is basically an echo chamber for buying these high-risk stocks and building momentum. Part of the reason for this is because the more people you can get to buy a stock, the higher the price goes, so the more money you can make. GameStop is a perfect example of this, since it is now trading at over $68 per share. Even today, someone posted their positions and they made $18,000 today alone just based on GameStop. Greg the Great says the most famous user turned about $50,000 to what would have been over $13 million at peak today. Even now, it's still worth over $10 million. Oh my God, that's sickening. Knowing people take a risk like that. Because just so you know, you may read this sentence and be like, wow, that person earned $10 million. Holy crap, that's amazing. Well, yeah, they earned $10 million if they sold the stock today and if they're not being greedy and keeping it. But they also risked losing $50,000 for nothing. Like, that's a lot of money. Like, a whole lot of money. Like, imagine you looking at this. Imagine you invested $50,000 in GameStop on March 3rd, 2017. You would have made nothing. Imagine if you had invested $50,000 in GameStop on January 19th, 2018. You would have made nothing. At any point, if you invested all that money in this company for the past 8-year period, you would have made nothing and probably lost some money. Whereas now, if you got lucky, boom! Like, that's totally lucky. And it's totally gambling. Like, people can say that, like, oh, they know what they're doing and shit, but it's like educated gambling, you know? It's a kind of gambling where it's not totally up to chance. Because you can educate yourself more, you can learn about things, you can see that, oh shit, this is about to pop off, these people are talking about it, a bunch of people are going to buy it, I should get in on it now and sell it before all they buy it, yeah, right? Like, you can be educated and make decisions like that, but it is absolutely still gambling. You should not think that you can reliably earn money trading the stocks without a lot of experience trading stocks. If you bet against the market, you're going to lose money in most cases. You may not think that that's how it works because online people talk about how they earn this money from trading that stock and day traders share their happy stories and stuff. But the reality of the internet is that people lie, they exaggerate, and they don't share the shitty parts and the frustrating parts. And for example, let's say that you think something great and amazing is happening to you today and you make a video about it, but then 2 days later you find out that it was all fake and you don't actually get anything. Most people never make that correcting video, and they never take the original video down. So there's a lot of content that makes you think that these situations where things work out for you without you having to work hard or anything are quite common. And guess what, guys? They're not! You're gonna lose money! But, you know, just to warn you, there you go. So we're gonna talk about shorting because that's something that people have been bringing up. But let's get to more of these user comments. MRV3 says, it sounds like a way for people to justify gambling. This is what I understood of the situation. It's probably quite wrong. Citron is a business, and they make their business by shorting stock. As in, if a stock is overpriced, they'll see it, bet on it going down, and make some money. If the stock goes up, they lose money. The act of increasing share price is a short squeeze. Wall Street bets are buying shares to increase the price, thus squeezing Citron. Yeah, so for you guys listening, if you don't know what a short squeeze is, it's confusing. It's definitely confusing because you have to know a couple things. One, so people buy and sell stocks, right? But you can do more than just buy a stock or sell a stock. You can also borrow a stock from somebody else, right? So you can be like, hey, if you give me one GameStop stock today, I'll give you one GameStop stock in 3 days. Whatever, right? So when you short, and if you're a short seller, what you're doing is you're borrowing stock and you're betting that stock is going to lose value. So you're borrowing stock from someone. Let's say this stock is worth $100. I'm going to borrow this stock and then I'm going to immediately sell it for $100. I now have $100 in cash. And the guy I borrowed the stock from still wants it back. but I didn't tell him I'd give it back to him for 4 days, right? So 4 days pass, the stock price falls, and now I can buy a new share of the stock for $90. So I buy it, I give the guy his stock back, and I have $10 of profit. That's basically how it works, okay? So when you short in a very large scale, you see a stock that's worth let's say it's overvalued and it's worth $100, but you think it's actually only worth like 10 or something like that, right? So you think it's about to crash imminently. As soon as it's worth $100, you're like, hey, I'm gonna borrow some stock from you, and I'm gonna give it back to you, and I'm gonna give the same amount of stock back in 4 days, right? So you buy the stock, you sell it, you get your money, and then it drops, and then you buy the same amount of stock you borrowed, and you give it back. Because for some reason in these borrowing relationships, it's based on stock you borrow, not money you borrow. So like if you borrow $1,000 worth of stock, you don't have to pay back $1,000 worth of stock. You just have to pay the stocks you borrowed. I don't know how you find those situations, but apparently that's what these short sellers do. So this is problematic because you can have someone who's betting on shorting, right? So GameStop, because it's been consistently losing value so much, it's the most shorted stock on the stock market, supposedly, for that reason. So this is an issue when you also have groups like Reddit, where there's tons and tons and tons of people who will listen to advice about buying specific stocks, right? So you have these shorters who put a bunch of money into, and they bet basically that a stock is going to lose a bunch of money. And then you have all of these social media groups who will just buy crap loads of the stock, and then it artificially inflates the stock's value. So right now, a GameStop stock is worth what? It's worth $97, right? But it's not. It's worth that right now at this moment. But if you look a month ago or a couple months ago, it was actually only worth like $18. And if you look even further back than that, it was worth $4 for like the vast majority of its history, right? Crashed. Moving on, let's see what's going to happen. This is a very long, informative post, so let's see. Whoa, jeez. All right, let's see what's going on here. This is originally by Slip and Slide, and it says, answer. There is a subreddit where people show off big wins and big losses by betting on obscure companies' stocks. Sometimes they find a way to win big. Other times it doesn't work out. So let's break this down real quick. On Reddit, on social media, people will share screenshots of how much money they lost or won from fluctuation in the market, right? So imagine you're one of these users. You just lost $80,000. You take a screenshot of that and you share it. Or you're one of these losers and you just won $80,000. You take a screenshot and you share it. Obviously, if one user makes loads and loads of money, crap loads of people see that and they want to copy it and they also buy that stock, right? So keep in mind, that's kind of how the behavior works. You win a whole bunch, you share it, and then boom, a bunch of people buy the stock that you showed a screenshot of earning a bunch of money. Now, are some people sharing screenshots that are fake where they never traded anything? Yeah, totally. Market manipulation is a real thing. Some people try and manipulate the internet and social media groups to just inflate stuff and earn a bunch of money on it. And people do that and they earn loads of money doing that. Unfortunate, but it's real. It's true. It happens. Okay? So back to this comment. GameStop is in sort of financial peril, like you said. This caused people to short a lot of GameStop stock. This is a stock market trick where you borrow someone's stock at a high price, sell it immediately, wait for the price to go down, and then you buy it again at a low price. And then you give the stock back to the original person. So the people in this sub who gamble thought it might be interesting to buy GameStop stock. See, stock prices aren't really based on a company's prospects. They're based on how people are trading the stock. So if a lot of people start buying a stock, its value goes up whether or not the company is failing. And this is why GameStop stock being valuable doesn't mean that GameStop as a company isn't failing. This is called a short squeeze. It messes with the plans of the people who shorted the stock and can encourage them to panic and buy back the shares earlier than anticipated, which in turn makes the price go further upwards, so the people who bought it make more money. This seemed to coincide with a few GameStop announcements that encouraged some investors to think they might do okay. So those investors started buying GameStop too. That only helped the people gambling. This was happening, wandered around the internet. On this sub, there may have been no less than 5 copies of What's Up with GameStop every day for a week. I imagine other forums are talking about it. And I even saw some mentions on social media. There are rumors this was technically an advertising campaign, since the more people buy the stock, the more money the people in the original plan can make. This isn't the first stunt pulled by that subreddit. Apparently, a lot of traders have paid attention to them lately, and they've also started what appears to be an organized effort to mess with a fund called Citron. If you see a mention of Citron, it's a reference to that fund. There are rules and laws concerning how traders are supposed to behave. It's really complicated, but sometimes getting a big group of people to all do the same thing to force a stock price to go one way is illegal. A rumor entered the rumor mill that somebody had tipped off the SEC, and it would be investigating the relevant subreddit to determine if everything was legit. If they rule illegal trading happened, people could face fines and maybe other penalties. So as far as I can tell, the sub went private for a short time recently, and then it returned. I don't know what they did. I don't see any public explanation, but that's about the extent of the story. That's easy to know without being involved. Too long didn't read? A Reddit sub that likes to talk about trading tried to organize a stunt to manipulate the price of GameStop stock. It seems to have worked. A lot of people are talking about it, and there might be legal questions. Haha. There you go. That was a great summary. Good job. Here you go. Haha. Wait, no. Where's the thumbs up? Oh, no. That's the bad meme. Where's the good meme? There we go. Thumbs up. Yeah. Thumbs up. Yeah. Good comment. All right. Icy Liquid says, I can add a bit of context about the sub going private, I think. Yesterday, one of the mods of WSB made an official WSB mods Twitter account, despite other mods and most of the sub being vehemently against it. They don't want to be seen or thought of as an organized group, because then they could get in a lot of potential legal trouble for market manipulation or insider trading. I don't know the law or anything, so this could be true or not, but enough of the subreddit thinks that it's true that they disagreed with the official Twitter. I believe the Twitter profile was shut down now, but they set the sub to private to deal with it. There was a lot of arguing, name-calling, and angry back and forth. I saw rumors of attempted doxing of different people, but I didn't look into any of that, and I can't speak to its truth. This sounds dramatic, isn't it? It's pretty crazy. Like, at what point is an internet forum an organized group, right? Because Reddit in general, like, you could definitely argue it's a group, but to argue that it's an organized group is kind of hard, because even when Reddit has tried, like, people who use Reddit have tried to work together and be organized to accomplish something, like, for example, being a detective and trying to figure out a murder mystery, well, they've failed miserably and not gotten anything done. So it's quite chaotic. I'd be really interested to see what the courts think about, like, is an online forum like Reddit an organized group? Can you hold those people accountable? Can you force Reddit to give you the identities of those profile holders? Because that's another thing. Like, these people could just have Reddit account names. It can be very hard to link the Reddit account with the actual person. If the person knows what they're doing, like, you basically need... Yeah, that's messy. That's very messy. And the SEC already is bad enough at actually getting real politicians and powerful people who do insider trading. Like, insider trading happens all the time. It's part of life, and it's illegal, but people just act like it doesn't happen, and they turn a blind eye when it happens all the time. So the chance of the SEC actually making this an issue and these people on Reddit getting in trouble is probably quite unlikely. just because people tend to not get in that much trouble. Like, occasionally you hear about a person like going to jail for insider trading or something, but for every one person you hear about going to jail for it, there's like 100 rich people who never will go to jail, and they'll never even get in trouble. Like, that's just how it is. It sucks, but that's the reality. I don't know why that's the reality though. So maybe if you're listening to this and you know why that's the reality, comment below. Educate me. The Far Runaway says, a Reddit sub that likes to talk about trading tried to organize a stunt to manipulate the price of GameStop stock. This is just flat out wrong. Wall Street Bets took an interest in GameStop several months ago because it was a good play, not because there was a coordinated attempt to manipulate the price. It became the obsession of the subreddit simply because the thesis behind it was so compelling, not because it was purposefully being manipulated for no reason. Keep in mind, Michael Burry, the hedge fund manager who got famous for predicting the housing market crash and was the subject of The Big Short, he invested heavily in GameStop before it was even mentioned on Wall Street Bets. It's extremely dishonest to represent what's happening with GameStop as coordinated market manipulation. I don't know if I agree with this. I don't know. Like, to say it's extremely dishonest, probably, I don't think that's accurate. Yeah, we don't know if it's being manipulated, but you can't look at a stock like GameStop and say that that isn't manipulation. Like, you don't see a stock that was $4 to $8 for 8 years and then rose a little bit to like a high of 18 while still maintaining up and down. You don't see stocks suddenly jump to 100 or 10 times their value without any investor meeting, without any big plan, without any big change in the company. If none of those big changes happened, the stocks don't change like that unless people are fucking with them and manipulating them. So I personally don't agree with this commenter. Like, maybe it's wrong, maybe there's other stuff and it's not just market manipulation, but usually when a stock goes 20-fold, overnight, it just gets crazy valuable. It's because of market manipulation on someone's role. So maybe what market manipulation is, we can argue about that, right? Because from my perspective, if a company with, $10 million buys $10 million worth of stock in one company, that's market manipulation. It's not illegal at all, but that company has so much buying power that their decision to buy so much stock in that company is going to affect the market. It's going to manipulate the market in some way. I'm not going to say it's going to be in a way that the company wants, but the point's that you can manipulate markets if you have enough power. And you can have enough power by either having enough money or being able to influence enough people who have some money. Either way, you can manipulate the market, right? But this person doesn't think that it's market manipulation. They think that it's just normal that GameStop is just performing this way because of GameStop's decisions as a company, which, no. But anyway, moving on. The Maple Staple says, I agree with everything you said, except that this was an organized event. The reason it's going how it's going is that the RWSB is full of autistic shitposters who love to talk about tendies while they go broke. They have a good time and laugh at others' losses, but occasionally one particularly why does this person keep saying autistic? Like, don't use the word autistic. It's not an insult. An autistic person is a person who has like a different brain than you do. Don't insult people by calling them autistic. You're an asshole, dude. Whoever you are, the Maple Staple, F you. I hope that you go get insulted by somebody being mean to you by using a word that's offensive, that they shouldn't be using, because that's what you're doing. You shouldn't use the word autism or autistic as a bad thing. So I'm not even going to honor your comment by using it. I'm going to reread your comment and take out your bullcrap words. They have a good time and laugh at others' losses, but occasionally one person will take a gamble, and it takes off like one of those rare 4chan posts where they get shit done. Wall Street Bets has for some time been brought up by people on CNBC and Jim Cramer himself, so while they're just a subreddit, they have gotten industry attention. I just lurk there, but I think it might have been that deep value guy investing quite a lot that set off the other to join in. That's when Shitron started talking shit. It made even more people with few money jump on board simply to try and one-up the shit talkers. See, this guy's saying other people are shit talkers, but he's said a lot of shit so far. Like in these 2 little paragraphs, he's talked a lot of shit. He's offended autistic people. He's said that it's not an organized event, which I guess is true. Okay, yeah. So what people say when they're saying it's not organized is that these people on Reddit aren't all coordinating and working together. They're doing things in groups without necessarily communicating and coordinating that they're doing it, right? Like, they're all reading the same thing, and a lot of them are going and buying the same thing, but they aren't like having a Zoom call and being like, okay, now at this time we're all going to do this, and at this time you're all going to do that. So I guess what they're getting at when they say it's not organized, that's what they're talking about. And this kind of comes up to the debate of is it possible for a forum to be organized, basically, because you can have people who are talking about selling a stock, a big group of people talking about selling the same stock. Is that organized? From some people's opinion, it's not. It's not organized unless they actually meet and make a specific plan to buy the stock, right? And this is where the internet makes things really, really tricky. Because in person, it's really easy. You can be like, well, these 10 dudes come together every Monday morning and they all talk about stocks and then they make a plan for what they're going to buy for the week. Like, okay, that's organized, you know? But if they're doing it online, how do you prove it's organized? Like, it's harder, right? So, yeah, just getting at that. Now to get on with this person shit-talking people and claiming that other people are just shit-talking. Now you have Shitron. He's saying Shitron. So by definition, if you say Shitron and you like spell it with shit, you're shit talking. So he's one of these people he's complaining about. Now you have Shitron saying GameStop will hit $20 a share. And while initially the Wall Street Bets guys were holding out for $420 a share, currently they're going for no less than $1,000 a share. This guy's full of shit. They're not waiting for that much. Okay, just for some reference, when you have a $10 share and its price jumps in a week to $120, $150, you don't need it to get up to $420 to make fuckloads of money. Like, that's already enough influx. You don't need to wait for it to hit it. It's never going to be worth $1,000 a share. Like, never. This comment, even though it's long, literally has no idea what they're talking about. Because these people are not waiting for it to get that valuable. Like, we're talking about a share that started at $10, right? So imagine you have $10. Imagine you have $1,000. You buy all of that money worth of GameStop stock at $10, right? You spend $1,000 or $10,000, let's say. If it goes to 100, you don't have $100,000. You just 10-upsed. You're not going to wait for it to, oh yeah, it's already 10x'd its value. I'm going to wait on the offhand, unlikely, double struck by lightning chance that this is going to happen again and it's going to 10x its value again for no reason. Like, they're not waiting for that to happen. They're not betting on that. So this comment isn't useful. It's just somebody who's reading people who talk shit, kind of vaguely paying attention to people who talk shit, and then he's talking shit himself. But I don't even think this is a useful, informative comment. And he finishes it by saying, I obviously don't know the specifics of illegal trading, but to me, and obviously I have very limited insight to exactly how organic it was, it developed as organically as some idiot on 4chan posting a meme about how you can charge your iPhone in a microwave, and the other idiot said, lol, that might be fun, and then started doing it as well. At this point I feel bad for picking the fuck out of this guy's comment, but he says that he uses a metaphor of comparing people on 4chan putting an iPhone in a microwave and a bunch of people copying that. That's organic growth. It doesn't matter if what you're doing is dumb. If people copy what you're doing for free and you didn't spend any money to market it, it's organic growth. It doesn't matter if it's dumb or not. Like, it literally is irrelevant. So, yeah, that comment was useless. Naxter48 says, it feels like they just tricked the trickster. Took what Citron was doing, but did it better, and now Citron is just mad about it. Trekkie for Christ says, this caused people to short a lot of GameStop stock. This is a stock market trick where you borrow someone's stock at a high price, sell it immediately, wait for the price to go down, buy it again at a low price, and then give the stock back to the original person. Wow. This is the most understandable explanation of shorting a stock I have ever heard. Thank you. Yeah, that was a good description there. Good description, buddy. Oh, God. Do we have the Pikachu meme just stuck on the screen? Oh, no! Well, that's no good. I guess that means I gotta end this video now. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time, effort, and attention. If you would like to make content like this, where you read, react, and respond to stuff on Reddit, and you add your own flair to summarize stuff that's trending, please reach out to us. We are looking for more content creators who are interested in working with these tools. We also have tools that allow you to quickly and easily make thumbnails. So if you're interested, please reach out to us. You can get our email by going to our About page on our YouTube channel and then reaching out to us, saying hello. We want to set up a Zoom call with you. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Ciao.